Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Oregon and our first episode of the new year of 2024. And it's a special episode today as we are filming on location for the first time in the show's history here at the beautiful and brand new Oregon Public Library. If your New Year's resolutions was to learn more about the new library, then this show is designed specifically for you. So I am here today with Jennifer Way, the director of the library, and we'd like to thank you for, first of all, allowing us to come into this wonderful space live here and to talk with you about this new project and its completion and what people can expect from coming to the library. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. We're glad to have you here today.
Yeah. So, as the director of the library, right, you've had an instrumental hand in the development of this plan from the infancy to now. So can you kind of talk us through the process of how this came to be in kind of the challenges and hurdles we faced to come to this beautiful space?
That's a great question. I actually took this job in 2018, so just over 5 years ago, and I knew that part of the job would be trying to build a new library for Oregon, and that's something I had the chance to do at my previous community in Prairie du Sac. Okay. And so I lived in Oregon and had a chance to work at the library there, and I wanted to do that same thing here in Oregon that I was able to do there. So when I took the job, 6 months into the job, we were hiring an architect, and then shortly thereafter we started fundraising. So fundraising was going great, and then we had that pandemic arrive, and that really just kind of put a curveball in our process. But we have a wonderful community that was very supportive along the way. We were able to raise over $2.5 million, which is incredible. We spent a long time, once we hired the architect, really talking about our community wants and needs and what we had as a library, but also what was possible. We heard from folks of all ages and all walks of life about how they use the library, and also what they would like to see. And so you see a lot of that reflected in the design now with the study rooms, the meeting room space. A lot of those things were prioritized because of those conversations with the community.
Right, it really does feel like a larger community space, place to gather, a place to get information. Now, you did have some setbacks, right? Obviously, there was a design done on that lot. We used to be where the church was on North Main, and determined that wasn't okay. And I know there was some controversy in terms of where to place it then, and lots of feedback. But, as I walk into this building, it's beautiful to see it amongst the nature, and I think it's a wonderful choice. So can you kind of summarize for me, if a viewer hasn't come here now, and you must come here because it's absolutely beautiful. If they haven't set foot in this space yet, what can they expect? What have people's general reactions been as they've explored this new library?
Yeah, so I'm going to respond to both of those questions separately, but I think what they can expect is we really tried to design it with community needs in mind. So when you walk in, there's a lot of natural light. Tried to orient the building so that there's windows everywhere for all ages to enjoy that overlook the Keller Alpine Meadows Park area. There's expanded seating for people of all ages. So whether you're an adult needing a quiet place to get away from home, or a teen looking to work with others after school, or a kid looking to just jump into a picture book and read or play, there's spaces for all those things to go on, and there's separate spaces. So, anybody can use the library how they need to without kind of worrying about bothering or getting in the way of somebody else, which is the beautiful part of it. I think your other question, you asked about what people could expect, and then also how people are reacting.
What have you been hearing from folks as they've kind of slowly filtered through?
Yeah, we've had some really great positive feedback in terms of just, liking the aesthetic of the building, but also the spaciousness of it. The old building was a great building and it served us well, but it was kind of everything was on top of each other. And just to be able to spread out and find a place to sit and read or a place to sit and work is really wonderful for our community and something that people really kind of haven't had at the library previously.
That's great. Now, can you just speak to some of the specifics of the design?
Yeah.
Is there energy efficient heating and cooling?
Yeah.
And just what kind of other things were we able to incorporate that are also not only better for the space itself, but better for the community and the environment?
Sure. So I'll start with the energy efficient design. So the village board, when we were doing the project, to them, being sustainable was really important. And so the library has geothermal heating and cooling. We don't have any gas lines to the building at all. We also have solar panels on the roof, and then the system's designed to expand so that we can add more solar in the future as funding allows. So that was something that was really put a lot of thought into it. You also see a lot of native vegetation as far as stormwater management outside. And so that's something that we're glad to have been able to incorporate. I think the other thing that we really wanted the library to be would be future friendly, and really wanted to plan not just for the library now, but for the library and the community down the road. So next time as the community grows, where will the library grow if we wanted to stay on this site down the road? And so every decision was made knowing that in the future we would expand the building this way, or the parking lot this way, or the stormwater management this way, so that down the road in the future, if that should be needed, then those answers are kind of already there. And they can find that solution on their own. So I think sustainable, future-friendly, but also I think designed kind of like you said as a community center. So we have a conference room that we're sitting in right now that has room for like a book club or a board meeting or community group to use. But we also have study rooms for folks to meet after school, for people have meetings, just those spaces where you can come and connect with each other, and that's so important and something that the old library really didn't have to offer. So,
sure. Yeah, that's exciting to hear how you've worked collaboratively with the board to ensure some sustainability aspects of the building, and it's great to hear that you're not necessarily landlocked. I mean, there's a limit at some point, but you've definitely thought about those future opportunities for advance, which I think is great. I know you had a tremendous opening night and opening ceremony. You want to describe that for our folks who didn't get a chance to come over? I know I saw some of the videos, and it really was a who's who of Oregon as I kind of looked through some of the pictures. So just what took place that day that made that so special for us? Yeah,
so our opening was just about 2 weeks ago today, and it was just a wonderful surprise. It was in the middle of January, so you never know if you're going to have anybody show up at all on a day like that. But we had folks showing up as early as half an hour before the ribbon cutting, and people just kept coming. And so it was really exciting to see people just kept showing up, cars kept showing up, the parking lot was full. We heard a lot of people actually didn't stop because there was no parking anywhere nearby.
Exactly.
We had over 1,000 people come through the doors in 3 hours. And it was just super exciting to see people see the space for the first time and see how it met their expectations or exceeded their expectations. It was just exciting that the energy was so positive. You could just feel people's excitement, and it was just smiling faces everywhere. People were so excited, they were grateful, they were, you could see them just immerse themselves in the space and just kind of envision how they would use the library and what that would mean for the community. So it was just overwhelmingly positive to see that support from community and have people turn out to show their support and excitement.
That's exciting. I love how you call this a community space, because I believe the previous land use agreement here was for a school building that ultimately didn't work out. Today's schools are much bigger than they needed at the time, and so the fact that a building still stands in the spot that is for the benefit of everyone in the community, I think, is a testament to the planning and making sure that this is a viable option. So I think it's interesting. I'm an English teacher, so obviously I love books. I've been in the library. I've paid my fines. Trust me. Okay.
We don't have those anymore. So.
Oh, good. Well, I think that some of the things were lost, but we found them. But people have emotional attachments to libraries. Some people have aversions to them, too. So obviously we know libraries are a place where books are abound. But what can you tell our viewers about what other opportunities and services you offer that's not just the regular run-of-the-mill? I'm looking for something to read. Like, what do you see folks using this library for, and now what do you have the capacity that maybe we didn't have in our old building?
Yeah, I would encourage anybody who hasn't been to the library in a long time to just try it again and see what we have to offer. I think, if you have a notion in your head of what the library was like when you're a kid, either positive or negative, we hope we have the positive things to offer, and we hope that we've offered many new positive things as well. If you have nightmares about returning a book late, you'll find that we don't have late fees anymore, so that's a wonderful thing to kind of break down barriers and make sure people can use the library if they need to, regardless of their financial situation. But I think it's about more than just books. So books are obviously an important part, but it's really about connections and people. Can connect somebody with, information they need. You can ask a question if you don't know where else to ask. And oftentimes, either if we don't know, we can put you in touch with the right person to answer your question. We connect people with technology and importantly with each other. So you can come and find, important information you need. You can explore an interest. You can kind of just get a break away from home, or connect with a program that we might have on something that piques an interest or serves a need. So there's just so many opportunities that I encourage you to stop by and try if you haven't visited a library lately. It's just so much to offer. And with our new space, our old space was always a limitation on what we could do, and we have some really amazingly talented staff, but a lot of times we were limited by what spaces we had available. A lot of our programming had to be done off-site, and we had some amazing partners that made that possible. But now we can have our story time at the library, and we can have this morning we had a book club in this room with probably about 15 to 20 folks, and to have those in the library and seeing people use our resources and connecting with each other is incredible, so that that space isn't the issue anymore. It's just the sky's the limit as far as the creativity of our staff and what we can do. So
that's nice. I know my mother enjoys the book clubs. I know she's participated in a couple since she moved here in 2020. So
it's wonderful.
And this is, believe me, folks, a beautiful space that we're sitting in right now. But as I walk around, I mean, little do people might know you have a seed catalog, right? Yeah. And it's a very multimedia enriched experience. The Lucky Day DVDs you can find. Really current movies, old movies, obviously books on tape for it's definitely not that stereotypical librarian going to be shushing you. I mean, maybe if you're misbehaving, but in general, it's a much more diverse experiences that meets other people's needs, not just so much the reading and research that we often think of our old school libraries.
And we want to have those spaces and meet those needs too. We have a reading room for folks that needed kind of a quiet place to go to get away, but we really want to engage the community and have them be able to have a conversation with neighbors or talk to a friend or a playmate and really just experience the library and the community. So we want to be able to have spaces where conversation is welcomed, where they can feel greeted and part of the community and feel like they belong. Our goal is for everybody to feel like they belong. We've been getting asked by a lot of folks that have we added to what we had and since we moved, and we just moved everything we had and spread it out, and it's amazing how
there's
much
really
space.
Not any additional books necessarily.
We've hardly purchased anything new since we moved, so really just spreading out what we have in a way that's more accessible for people. Our picture book collection, for example, is now face out for kids, so that they can be active participants in choosing books that they want to read, which helps encourage reading and inspire literacy. And so that's been really great. The number of picture books checked out has already gone up. So things like that, where just being able to access the collection more easily really allows people to read and find more things than they would have before.
And have you noticed, I mean, the newness of the library is still a factor, but have you noticed for sure, when do you think we can make a judgment call on whether the number of visitors has made an uptick in general?
Yeah, I'd say we want to give it a good 6 months. I mean, we've had an amazing response so far, and so I don't know if we can expect it to sustain the number of visitors we've had now, but I'd say 6 months from now we'll have some really good numbers about what we can expect to translate into future years.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, you did talk about some specific programs that were maybe off-site before. So what besides the book club room, the community rooms and stuff, what other programs are you offering that people might not also be aware of?
Sure. So each summer we do some great programming for youth when they're out of school to kind of keep their interest in reading and just have some constructive activities to do during the summer. And we've held those in parks, we've held those at the schools, throughout the community, which has been good in those ways. But I think that's something that we plan to grow this year, is to have more of those activities here at the library as well. We also have a great makerspace now that we've never had before, and so that's intended to be a kind of a hands-on space where you can get messy, do craft projects, STEAM projects, science projects, really, kind of get hands-on, and that's a space we're working on developing now, and so we're looking for feedback on what people would like to see. But that really opens a lot of doors for what we can do. In the past, we've done paint nights and things like that, and so just having opportunities to have a space where we can get a little bit messy and dive in is really exciting. It's also a space that we're hoping to do more after-school programming for teens. And that's kind of a need that our community has, even though we have a great youth center to kind of complement what they already offer and have another safe space for teens to go. And we just hired a teen librarian, and so we really see that as another thing that will be growing as we get settled. But just having the space where we can have more than one program go on at a time is just really going to open a lot of doors for what's possible.
So in this brand new library, are there opportunities? The high schoolers have to get volunteer hours, right, for their graduation hours. Is there opportunities now for kids in this space to come and work? Can you talk through any of those volunteer opportunities, or other people in the community who might be, hey, I got extra time, I want to come help my library out in any way I can?
Yeah, so for teens or those for looking for school volunteer hours, we have our summer reading program is run with a lot of volunteer support, and we take a lot of teen volunteers to make that happen. We have an amazing group of teen volunteers. So if you're interested, watch towards the end of the school year for us to post those opportunities. We'd love to have teens help us out and help with that summer reading program.
Now, let's talk a little bit about accessibility to this space.
Yes.
It is a 2-story building. The design, the parking lot's very nice. You want to talk about what you thought about for our patrons who may have some disabilities and may need help getting around in the new space?
Yeah, so a lot of the opportunities for accessing the space have improved with the new building. So our aisles are a lot wider, so if people are using a walker or a wheelchair, there's a lot more room to maneuver and get around safely. We do have an elevator to the second floor, and we purposely put that close to the front doors so that folks wouldn't have to go too far if they did need to get to the second floor. So that's great. The parking is a little bit better too for folks who might have any challenges getting to the library or might be using assisted devices. So we have a couple spots right next to the front doors. Before, the old library had to trek a little ways to get to the front door, so that's much nicer. We also have a hearing loop that we'll be having in our community room, so folks that have hearing challenges can use the hearing loop to better and more fully participate in programming and presentations, which we're very excited about as well. But we just have a lot of different types of seating for people, a lot of different options for somebody. And if there's something that you need that our space doesn't offer, let us know, and we'll try to figure out how to make sure you can be included and get what you need.
And I think, maybe people, I'm kind of talking to the viewers here that maybe haven't been to the library in many years, or haven't need to, or maybe your kids have grown up, and there's so much, first of all, this library pulls from all of Dane County, essentially, correct? So
yes.
Yeah, we have a network system, so if there isn't a book here now, within a few days it can come, right, in the hold system. And then there's apps on your phone nowadays, like LinkCat app is tremendously helpful in tracking down your information and finding out, and you can usually get that there. You have to wait sometimes if it's popular, but it's going to come to you. You want to speak about how that process works for some folks and what they can expect if they've used that?
So if you ever want to request something that we don't have here, either if it's something that we don't own or that somebody else already has checked out, you can ask a staff person, and we're always happy to help. But our whole catalog is available online at linkcat.info, and also we have a mobile app now, so you can search the catalog from your phone like you were talking about. And so that just makes it, however you want to search, the library is always at your fingertips. We also have Libby, which is a great app where you can actually check out ebooks and e-audiobooks and just read on your phone or your device. And that's a great app too for folks who maybe don't even want to come in the library but can still use the library to check things out that are convenient for them. We also have wireless printing. So for me, I don't have a printer at home, and that's a nice way where you can actually send your print job from your phone or your computer at home or at work. If your printer's broken, then you can come to the library and just we can print it off for you. You can pick it up and go and take it. So that's a great resource for folks that are connected but maybe don't have a printer as well. So
that's going to be a super connection for a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
No more papers being run out of ink. Now we're digital age, we don't get that excuse too much more. But that's great. So as we kind of close out, can you just remind people of the hours, when's the library open, what can they expect to be able to access this space?
Sure. The library is open 6 days a week, so we're open Monday through Saturday. We're open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday until 6 on Friday, and then from 9 to 3 on Saturday.
Great. Well, I want to thank you again for your time today, and I know you've got a lot of busy work that you need to attend to. And take it from me, folks, if you haven't checked out this wonderful new space we have here in town, it's definitely worth it. Come on out, find a book, find a movie to take home for the night, and enjoy all that this wonderful library has to offer our community. So that's all I have time for you here on Let's Talk Oregon. We'll be back in February with our February episode. Again, Happy New Year to all of us from OCA. We'll see you soon.